Let us now analyze what the leading manifestos of the leading political parties have done. Incidentally, if you take a look at the manifestos from 1992 to now, they essentially are spread on 12 points. The economy, trade and industry, education, health, energy and petroleum, natural resources, science, technology and innovation, security, sports, tourism, culture, chieftaincy and creative arts, foreign affairs, governance, corruption and accountability. These are the 12 main. Some changed the names over the period, and therefore Evans was right in terms of regurgitating it over the period. But over these 12 have been 700 promises over the period, some of which repeated. The interesting thing is that none of these manifestos seem to focus on the soft points without which the manifestos cannot thrive. So, for example, the manifestos make copious provisions for security. But what is security in an indisciplined society? If a society is indisciplined, there cannot be security. It doesn't matter how many plans you make. Now, if you talk about a situation where you want to drive the economy, it doesn't matter the provisions you make. If there is no national unity, one side will undermine the other. Now, in the midst of all this, there are a lot of similarities, strangely, among the manifestos. And I chose to pick 3 of the manifestos. One is MPP's manifesto, the other one is NDC, and the third is what I called any other. The any other happened to have centered a lot on the TPP manifesto. Because of time, I'll just draw examples of the similarities on a few. In the MPP manifesto for 2020, and I've done this research from 2012, in fact going back to 1992, but mainly from 2012 to now. If you take on the economy, inflation, interest rate, exchange rates to restore macroeconomic stability is the core provision in point 1 of the MPP manifesto. Now, if you go to the NDC manifesto, it makes similar provisions under what they call manage Ghana's public sector debt on page 26. While CPP talks about self-reliant national economy. Now, if you come to job creation, you will find that MPP makes the same provision under the economy, NDC makes the same provision under framework for industrial revitalization, support and transformation, and the Ghana First Agenda, page 36. And at times, some of the words they use are almost the same. Trade and industry, MPP wants to establish agro-processing factories and industries. NDC wants to establish agro-processing industries in Lower Menya and Bono, pages 1.4, 45 and 6.9.3 respectively. Planting for food and jobs, one district, one factory. Then the other one says repositioning agriculture and agribusiness as the key drivers to the economic growth and development. Education, you find similarities. You have free SHS on a universal basis and absorb BEC, WASI exam as point 1.6, page 103, 104. And the NDC improve free SHS, and the previous said they put it in quotes, by expanding to the private areas and abolish double track system. So they both talk about free SHS. MPP talks about incorporate technology in teaching and learning of maths. NDC says incorporate technology into teaching and learning, including provision of free tablets. So, free SHS, there was to be followed by free tablets. Health. Establish centers for cancer. This is MPP, page 1.7, 1.1.7, page 135. Establish centers for cancer and cover costs of NHIS breast cancer covered under the scheme, and Herceptin drug is also covered under the scheme. 7.2.3 NDC, establish cancer and kidney trust fund to support patients. Energy and petroleum, similar. Natural resources. Replant trees along the banks of major water bodies and their tributaries. NDC, reduce the rate of deforestation and degradation. Sports. Develop youth development and sports centers in all regions and stadia without one. NDC, develop strategic framework for construction of stadia in all districts across the country to scout for talents. Promote youth entrepreneurship by creating NEIP channel across the country. The other one, establish a young entrepreneurship development to support young entrepreneurs with technical and financial startups, etc., etc. Tourism. Forge a new formal collaboration between chiefs and governments to address national issues. Partner with traditional authorities to promote various festivals. Foreign affairs. Establish framework to facilitate return of Ghanaians in the diaspora, etc., etc. Deepen the relationship with the African diaspora, etc., etc. I'm going fast because of time. Take leadership in ECOWAS, play active role in ECOWAS. Governance, Daniel Domodovo will love this. Resource the Auditor General's office. The other one, strengthen the Auditor General's office. Now, these are over 12 heads. The real problem, therefore, is not what the manifestos say. It is rather what the manifestos don't say. Because the manifestos, in my view, are silent on very, very important issues which form the real foundation. Either they are completely silent on it or do not address them adequately. Examples will include issues relating to IMF, whether you go to IMF or not, which you will find, for example, mentioned in section 61 at page 176 of the MPP manifesto, and mentioned similarly in the NDC manifesto. But the treatment of these are not very detailed. And you will find that when it comes to issues like the central bank, there is criticism from both sides. When it comes to infrastructure, there is praise by both sides of what they have done. In fact, they both promise to actually continue projects that they did when they left office, not projects that others were doing when the others left office. So, in the midst of this, it appears the manifestos overlook very, very serious challenges.